either the work of a genius or a complete madman. This is the first thought we had when watching a certain Japanese film genre. To be honest, Japanese movies have been around for a long time now. From the epic called The Seven Samurai to the aesthetic Godzilla -1, Japanese cinema has entertained and taught us a lot. But if you venture deep into the Japanese filmography, you'll find a certain experimental genre that's way too disturbing. Just imagine the Saw movie series and dial up the intensity by 100%. The genre we're going to talk about today is Japanese body horror. In simple terms, it's a subgenre of Japanese horror which includes grotesque and disturbing transformations. Basically, people turning into monsters or sometimes even metal. Sounds quite mental. But wait, there's more. This subgenre also has a unique visual style which needs to be explored. And in today's feature of Marvelous Videos, we'll talk about 8 super underrated Japanese body horror movies and explore this lesser known genre. So turn off the lights and put on your disturbing glasses, because things are about to get twisted, quite literally. Before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us it means a lot. Thank you. Let's begin. TSO The Iron Man, 1989. The first movie on this list is truly terrifying, but also serves as a great movie to understand the Japanese body horror genre. This movie basically has everything. Grotesque and disturbing transformation? Check. Suspense and thrill that will make your heart beat faster than ever? Check. TSO The Iron Man was released in 1989 and was the first piece of cinema directed by Shinya Tsukamoto. Made on a budget of $130,000, the movie follows the story of a metal fetishist whose life changes after a horrifying incident. He gets a deep wound and tries to recover by putting a piece of metal in his body. Great idea, right? Not exactly, because the curse is soon transferred, and metal starts to sprout from his body. This grotesque mutation terrifies him and his girlfriend, as he's grappling with his new identity. What makes it worse is that he's chased by dark forces, and in the quest to defeat them, meets a person with a similar transformation, leading to a horrific yet dramatic conclusion. The reason this movie makes it on the list is not because of the story, but the visuals. The movie has a classic black and white cinematography that complements the use of rapid cuts and unconventional camera angles. There's a sense of rawness in the movie that can't be explained, but can be felt when watching it. This movie is bound to give you a sense of excitement or nightmares for a few days, depending on your taste. So if you want to give Japanese body horror a try, then do check out TSO The Iron Man. Hirako The Goblin, 1991. Hirako The Goblin is another work by Shinya Tsukamoto. However, this time he goes deep into Japanese mythology and introduces viewers to a creepy goblin. A junior high school becomes a playground for sinister activities and transformations when an ancient tomb is suddenly discovered. The plot kicks off with Reijiro Hieda, who discovers the ancient mound and unknowingly breathes life into the trapped goblin. What follows is a series of transformations where this ancient goblin named Hirako is taking over people and animals. The sight of a spider with a goblin head still manages to provide nightmares. To put an end to these horrifying incidents, Hieda pairs up with his nephew and uncovers several secrets about the goblin. What's interesting about the movie is that the transformations keep getting more and more disturbing as the movie goes on. The final showdown to stop Hirako is super terrifying and includes many supernatural occurrences. It's a traditional Japanese horror movie, but Tsukamoto has included his personal style, making the movie super disturbing and horrifying. This is a rare combination. Simply imagine Conjuring and Saw in the same movie with random jump cuts and frantic editing. This is truly a recipe for a disturbing movie, promising bouts of terror and chaos as you get invested in this unique world. The movie was released in 1991 and was applauded for its eerie theme and grotesque creatures that can still haunt you even after more than 30 years of its release. So if you're looking for a traditional horror film, but with snippets of twisted creatures and personalities, then do give this movie a shot, and we're sure you won't be disappointed. Splatter, Naked Blood, 1996. This movie contains one of the most terrifying horror scenes in the history of Japanese cinema. I think this line is enough to check out Splatter, Naked Blood. But if you need more convincing, then the plot will definitely make this your next watch. What can happen when you discover a painkiller that actually turns pain into pleasure? Basically, normal headaches start to feel good, but what if this experiment goes horribly wrong and things start to get gory? A scientist named Eiji gets in a similar predicament when he discovers the magical painkiller called Myson. Due to the lack of certifications, Eiji secretly administers the drug to 3 different women. This is when things start to get grotesque and disturbing. The women start to inflict extreme self-harm on themselves and derive euphoric pleasure from it. Things get so serious that 2 women actually lose their lives in the process. But the third woman, named Rika, has a different reaction to Mai-san altogether. She actually turns into a homicidal serial killer, and derives euphoria from killing people. The dramatic conclusion of the movie is set to disturb many watching it, and the gory nature amplifies the situation even further. Splatter soon gained cult status due to certain scenes in the movie. Director Hisayashi Sato doesn't shy away from exploring disturbing imagery, and that's exactly why this movie makes it on the list. What stands out is the optimal use of practical special effects. VFX wasn't that perfect in 1996, therefore the makers had to rely on practical effects, which make this movie even more realistic. If you're a fan of body horror and want something with realistic special effects, then Splatter Naked Blood will be the right choice for you. Just keep a pillow or blanket handy just in case there's a super disturbing scene. Organ, 1996. Adapted from a play by the same name, Organ is a movie that will make your next visit to the doctor super terrifying. The movie follows the plot of two detectives, Numata and Tosaka. They're tracking an organ trafficking gang, and soon infiltrate their lair. However, their cover is blown, and Tosaka gets captured by the leader named Saeki. Now, Saeki also works as a biology teacher in a school, and has killed many of his students and harvested their organs. The biology teacher apparently loves his job, and it's perfectly displayed by the gruesome way he conducts his experiments. After catching Tosaka, the poor guy gets exposed to a series of brutal experiments that are almost impossible to watch on the screen. On the other hand, Numata is constantly trying to rescue Tosaka, and learns the disturbing truth about the illegal organ harvesting industry. What sets this movie apart is its execution. Director Kei Fujiwara doesn't shy away when showing disturbing scenes and actually takes it up a notch. The rawness and realistic effects will surely give you that sickly feeling, and the movie's dark and claustrophobic vibe is set to disturb you even more. If you're up for a challenge, then surely try to watch The Organ alone at night with the lights switched off. However, if you need another reason, then the movie's production story will actually surprise you. Director-producer Kei Fujiwara didn't actually have the money to produce the movie. Additionally, many studios also pulled out due to the disturbing nature of the movie, so Kei and his crew members decided to pool their savings and buy the necessary gear. Actors were only allowed to give one take due to the budget, resulting in a near-perfect performance. The movie was later screened at the Toronto Film Festival, and some of the reviewers called it impossible to watch. Rubber's Lover, 1996. Rubber's Lover is a sinister sequel to the classic 1964 Pinocchio that literally took breath away. The movie is based in a dystopian cyberpunk future where a group of scientists conduct horrifying experiments to harness psychic abilities. However, their quest for an improved human mind results in extreme mental torture on the test subjects. The scientists gather the human guinea pigs from the streets, and most of them die a brutal death. The plot of the movie kicks off when the scientists sense a lack of human guinea pigs, and they become test subjects themselves. They start to experience a brutal mutation while undergoing terrifying physical and mental trauma. This movie is a must-watch for everyone into sci-fi or cyberpunk-based cinema. Director Shozin Fukui does a great job at combining these elements with Japanese body horror, and they actually complement each other. The signature black and white cinematography adds a deep layer of intrigue in this narrative, and the frantic editing coupled with realistic transformation scenes make this one a truly disturbing watch. But the most interesting thing about Rubber's Lover has to be the way it showcases the brutality of experiments and the grim nature of the world. We get to see how a scientist can lose his mind to pursue something that's not humanly possible. It also teaches us the mental capacity of humans, while they flirt with ethics and morals. Rubber's Lover is a memorable entry into the Japanese body horror genre, and everyone into sci-fi and cyberpunk should gladly give this a try. Meatball Machine, 2005. What do you get when you combine World War Z with dystopian otherworldly parasites? Meatball Machine. Released in 2005, this independent flick truly got the viewer's attention due to its interesting and riveting subject. The movie revolves around a factory worker who's on a quest to rescue his love interest, Sachiko, but it won't be easy as he has to fight a wave of cannibalistic necrobugs who have taken over the entire community. A mysterious parasite has suddenly infiltrated the lands of the living and turns everyone into a grotesque hybrid who have the unending urge to consume other humans. Sachiko gets infected by the same parasite, and in order to rescue her, our protagonist gets involved in a gruesome battle with these horrifying hybrids, and will go to any length to rescue his loved ones. In retrospect, the plot of the movie is pretty basic. However, the grotesque nature and horrifying transformations make this movie an all-time classic in the Japanese body horror genre. What really stood out is the use of prosthetics and makeup that actually elevates every scene involving these hybrid necrobug creatures. Director Yudai Yamaguchi has made the most of the resources available and has been able to craft a thrilling experience for anyone watching the movie. It's a disturbing yet riveting piece of art that keeps on getting more intense as the hours round up, so if you're looking for a love story element in a Japanese body horror, then Meatball Machine might be the one for you. Marabito, 2004. Marabito is a somewhat forgotten classic in a wide array of work director Takashi Shimizu has done. The director of Grudge explored the feeling of fear in the best way possible, and will inspire the same out of you when you watch this movie. We as viewers get to understand the extent of fear through the lens of Masuoka, a freelance cameraman who is obsessed with the unknown. His obsession leads him to the underworld of Tokyo, where he finds several disturbing and grotesque creatures. In the depths of the underworld, he finds a strange woman, whom he names M. Masuoka tries to feed her, but later finds out that she only survives on blood, so our freelance cameraman cuts himself just to feed her. The scenes are borderline disturbing and brutal. Masuoka basically kicks off a series of unfortunate events after capturing M, and brings forth violent consequences. His curiosity for the unknown eventually leads him there, but not without sick and twisted sacrifices. Compared to the other movies on this list, Marabito is somewhat less grotesque and disturbing. However, it does the best job in inspiring fear, and making us feel like someone is watching us all the time. The director of Grudge has successfully designed an eerie vibe in the movie, and each scene is terrifying. Tokyo looks super gloomy and grim in this movie, but what stands out is the underground world featuring some of the strangest creatures known to humankind. Marabito can serve as a great introductory movie if you want to get into the world of the Japanese body horror genre. Instead of being through and through a body horror movie, this is a traditional horror movie with an excess of disturbing scenes. So if you like The Grudge and want to explore the filmography of Takashi Shimizu, then Marabito should be the one. Gozu, 2003. What did I just watch? Was the reaction we had when watching Gozu. There are very few movies that are with you even after you're done watching them. Gozu is one such movie, and it's because of its super disturbing storyline. The movie is filled with grotesque scenes that can surely make you sick, and it's because of its bizarre storyline. Without spoiling it for you, the movie revolves around a Yakuza member who gets tasked to kill a member of his own gang. The story picks up when he kills the person, but later loses his body. What follows is a string of super disturbing situations that's bound to disturb you. Believe me, it's tough to watch this movie in one sitting if you're not familiar with the genre. However, if you're a Japanese body horror fan, then this is the perfect match for you, and let me tell you why. This movie comes with grotesque and twisted scenes, with dark comedy, but the essence of the movie is still body horror. There are often many things happening at one time, but director Takashi Miike does a great job at making each scene more disturbing than the last. What elevated this storyline is the rawness of the special effects, combined with the sound effects that can ick you as you're watching the movie. There are some physical abnormalities and bizarre transformations in the movie that are extremely well done, and when they're combined with an unpredictable storyline, then the experience gets even better. So if you're into Japanese body horror and want to watch a singularly disturbing movie with dark comedy and action, then Gozu is the right pick for you. But if you're new to this genre, you may consider it as a challenge. Conclusion. After watching these 8 disturbing movies, I'm going back to the Disney universe for the much needed positivity. As for you guys, Japanese body horror is a great experimental genre, and every cinematic fanatic should at least give this a chance. From the grotesque transformations of TSO The Iron Man, to the super disturbing scenes of Splatter, Naked Blood, this list features the best of Japanese body horror. However, if we missed out on some classics, then do let us know about them in the comments below. Also, check out our wide array of videos on horror movies, if you're a fan of this genre, and don't forget to drop a like if you liked the video. Thank you, and stay marvelous!